everyone. My name is Stuti Ghosh, and this is Mera Wala Grief, a podcast for anyone dealing with grief. Grief, death, ये ऐसा सब्जेक्ट होता है ना जिसके बारे में बात करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. But आज के एपिसोड में I have someone very special. Now, if you have been closely following Bangla cinema, then she's a household name, right? I'm talking about Shastika Mukherjee. Thank you for doing this, Shastika.
Thank you. Thank you, Suti. Lovely to see you after so many months, but it seems like ages.
Absolutely.
Because,
I know.
Yeah.
And it's still with this screen between us,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
we're both getting used to this.
Yes.
Swastika, as you all know, is a phenomenal actress. She's won awards, critical acclaim, been part of some of the biggest films. And if you haven't seen her lovely Bangla films, then she's become everyone's favorite as Dolly Mehra in Patal Lok. So, that of course gave her a pan-India, introduction, as it were, to all of us, to this talent house that she is. Shastika, the first thing that I will ask you is, and I will continue from the conversation that we had the other day, how we both hate the phrase "be strong."
Yes. Yeah.
क्या मतलब होता है when we get those condolence messages, and I know they're all well wishers, they mean well, but somehow this phrase "be strong" gets to me, and it gets to you, and I want to know from you.
Yes, I know that people who are sending these strong messages have our best interests at heart, and they are our well-wishers or our friends or acquaintances. But वो जो समय है जिसमें से हम जा रहे हैं, I think this message "be strong" really pricks you, because मुझे लगता है कि मुझे strong नहीं बनना है. मुझे वीक बनना है, मुझे डिपेंडेंट होना है, एंड I don't know, I just feel very angry because me or you or any other person who is going through the loss of a parent, I would say, of course, I mean, every loss is a loss, whether it's friends or relatives or extended family, but losing a parent, that's the worst kind of feeling, and it's the worst fear that you come एकदम मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं, it's the worst kind of fear that you come across or you're just hit with, because all our lives we keep talking about it, we keep discussing it, that what will happen when we lose our parent. I mean, we are very scared, and we fear that moment, and when it arrives, I think वो जो 7-10 दिन चलता है ना कि doing all the cremation work, and then preparing for the Shraddh, and people come and a lot of people call and they are extending their wishes and their warmth. So वो एक machine की तरह चलता है वो 7-10 दिन. It hits you when all that work and that you work like a machine or a robot for those 7, 10 or 13 days, according to rituals and rules that every family has. But after all of that is over, then it hits you. The sannata and the darkness and the emptiness of the house, and you have no other option than to be strong. तो तब लगता है कि मुझे ये सुनना नहीं है, ये मैसेज मुझे देखना नहीं है, ये लेक्चर मुझे जानना नहीं है. So if you're losing one parent and the other one is there, then people will keep telling you,
take care,
be strong for your father,
or
be strong for your mother, or be strong for the rest of the family. So when do I get the chance to be weak? I want to be weak. I want other people to take care of me. Then I want to do something or anything that will give me, that solace, or just take me away from that zone, for even if it's for few minutes or hours. And majorly you get to hear be strong. So मुझे तो चिढ़ आता है बहुत, गुस्सा भी आता है, but I don't know.
No, you're very right. Actually, I have to say this. This is why Swastika is my favorite. This disarming honesty with which she will just tell you what she's feeling, what she thinks, and there are so many important things that you've said. I'll pick on each one of them as we go along this conversation. But सबसे पहले जो आपने ये बात बोली, this is so true. It's something that even I get very irritated with. Be strong for so and so. You have to, everything's on you now. और आपने बोला, then when do I get to be weak?
Yes.
Now, for people like us, you are an actress. You literally live and thrive in public gaze. Everyone is looking at you. The paparazzi, the media, your fans, people around you. You are the Swastika Mukherjee. When you have such a huge setback, you lost your mother in 2017.
15.
In 2015.
Yeah.
And imagine you've lost your mother. You, like you said, I'm sure you just want to break down.
Yeah.
And yet you have to keep up this image of being strong, because that is what is expected of you.
Yeah.
How did you manage that? Because that was your first encounter with something like this.
Yeah. When we discuss these things, many a times we say, or I've seen it happening with other family members and friends, that if your parent is ailing for a long time, society comes up with these statements that you are prepared, because your parent is ailing for a long time, it's approaching and you're prepared. I lost my mother without any preparation. She had got jaundice, and she got admitted to the hospital, and the doctors had told us that she can go back home in 3-4 days time. And in 3 days time, she slipped into coma, and she never came back home. But what I've realized is that whether your parents, they are ailing, or they are very old, or they are young enough to leave, you are never prepared.
Yeah.
You're never prepared. You can never prepare for your parents leaving you.
Yeah.
Whether it's happening in an hour, whether your parent is, dying in their sleep, or your parent is 90 years old, you're never prepared. Because when my mother was in the ICU, there was another very old woman, almost, she was above 90 years. And every day when I was going to the hospital, I could see the family members of that 90-year-old woman coming and asking and pleading with doctors that, Ma, badi chole jete parbe to? So, they were still hoping that they can take the mother home, who was above 90, has lived her life. And maybe, doctors were saying that even if she goes back home, she will be in a very sad state. It's better for her to leave. But as children, you will still want your parent to come back to you, come back home. And even if she is in a vegetable state, she's alive. So you don't want to let go of your parent or your loved ones. So I have just understood that, how much ever we discuss about this, and we know that, you're prepared. My father died of cancer, and in just like 3 months' time, and the doctor kept on telling us he has 10 days left, he has 15 days left. So prepare yourself. You are just not prepared. You're never prepared until that last moment. You will try your level best. Do whatever you can. Do things that you cannot. impractical things, and still you would want to hold on to them and make sure that they live. So yeah, I mean, a lot of discussions happen, but I think you're just not prepared. And also another thing, Stuti, ये बार बार हम लोग एक दूसरे से कहते हैं और ये सुनते भी है कि time heals everything. I think this is the most bakwas statement that we hear, and the most bakwas statement that we also share with people. I think time heals nothing. You just learn to live with it.
Yeah.
You get into the practice of coping up on a daily basis, that you are on your own and you don't have your parents to fall back on, and you just learn to deal with it and cope up with it. And वो खुद को समझाना पड़ता है हर रोज that this has happened to me and I need to live my life with this. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि आप सुबह एक दिन उठ के आपको लगेगा कि अच्छा चलो 1 साल हो गया या 5 साल हो गया या 7 साल हो गया है and I am cool with it. It's okay that my parents are gone. It's been almost 7 years
for your mother
now. Yeah, but for everything, that tick happens in my mind, that if she was there, maybe she would have said this, she would have done this. Every time, I'm eating lunch or dinner and my cook fucks up with something, immediately that thing comes that agar maa hoti, so she would have known, what it can
what
be
to
something
be done,
as stupid as some spice, which spice to give, or how to cook a chicken in some other way, or it is the simplest of things on a daily basis that keep reminding you their absence. So
life without them is unthinkable.
Yeah, you just, and for everything I have also observed myself, and I've realized that for everything I keep talking about my father, for everything. I mean, yesterday I had gone to the Indian coffee house in Kolkata, and if I was there for like half an hour, 20 minutes, I was talking about my father, what all he has told me about the place. And, it's just kind of really reliving whatever they have told you. So you're never out of that bubble. It's a weird and peculiar situation.
That's so true. Like, since we're trying to decode grief here, so I'm talking about these things. It's been 7 years you lost your mother. For your father, it's been a year, a little more than a year.
Little more.
And I it's been 1 month since I lost my father. And you're so right that you spend more time with them in your head now than when they were there. So now when I am eating something that he would like, or go to a place that we would visit together, I just all the time just obsessed with how he would react, what he would say. But now since you spoke about कि समय सब ठीक करता है, time heals, and you're very true when you say ये बकवास है. मेरे लिए खैर it's very raw. I don't know. I'm trying to understand from what you, because you're dealing with two very different kinds of grief. One was 7 years back. Of course, you lost your mother. Huge setback. But back of your mind, some cushion because you had your father with you still.
True.
And it's now been 7 years. Then you lose your father. It's been a year. Both your parents are gone. Your father is more recent. कोई फर्क है क्या दोनों grief में? How you process it, how you get affected by it? Is there a difference?
I think tend to miss my father more. I think that's the only difference. Miss my father more because...
Did you notice this? Do you feel guilty that I'm missing my father more now than my mother? Or
no,
in your head, what is
happening? For me, my mother passing away was a very big practical loss and problem for me. I still I'm still finding things that I have not found for the last 7 years. Like some bank locker keys. I'm still finding them. I haven't still found some bank locker keys because I have no idea. I mean, I've looked everywhere possible. Then maybe some, contract paper, some document, something. For my mother, to me, I mean, she took care of everything. I didn't even know my debit card PIN number. So I was so dependent on her. I have, I used to, even if I was going for shopping, I used to call her and tell me the PIN because I have forgotten, or I just didn't bother to remember because I knew she was there. After she died was the first time I heard that घर में चाय पत्ती नहीं है या दूध नहीं है या चीनी नहीं है या चावल ले आना पड़ेगा. These things, it was the first time I heard after my mother died. So I was oblivious to these home domestic stuff because everything she was taking care of. She was taking care of my accounts, banks, paisa kahan pe hai, ya even my shooting continuity clothes. I used to just call her and tell her कि वो film shoot का वो जो साड़ी I had taken back home, वो चाहिए, वो white color में red dots है. So I knew that it would take her a second to get it out. So it was like a huge blow because I felt like I'm stranded in a situation I know nothing about. I don't know where my keys are kept, what all things are kept, everything that goes on in a kitchen, father's account details, locker keys, ghar ka chabi, gaadi ka papers, like, you just don't know anything. So my focus was to
in a way, mothers are indispensable. You can't
get into that mode of keeping the the fish शॉप का नंबर अभी फोन पे रखना है, धोबी का नंबर अभी फोन पे रखना है, कुक का नंबर फोन पे रखना है. So it was all kind of arranging my life together. And so a lot of, just after she passed away for a few months, I was just very focused on trying to find things that would make my life not better, I can survive,
but just help you get a hold on your life.
Yes,
because
so I would know what I need to do, whom I need to call, and all of that. And so that was a different kind of a situation. And also, with for me, I was always calling, and even if my father used to pick up the call, I used to tell him, "माँ को phone do."
I used to do the
and
same thing. Oh God,
my mother at times used to get so angry and tell us that, can't you all like just have that much of decency to say hello Baba or hi or what are you doing or are you okay? I mean, there was no conversation happening with him directly. It was always via Ma. So we have laughed over it. We used to laugh over it. And for everything I know, my mom used to tell me that you are, you've still not grown up. You have no maturity. You don't take care of your things. मैं जब नहीं रहूंगी तो देखना क्या होता है तुम लोगों का.
That's
so and then of course I realized after she went away that she said that you people need to grow up and take care of your things and responsibilities. You all don't know, घर में आके चप्पल इधर, बैग उधर, तुम ऐसे रहते हो जैसे होटल में हो, कुछ भी पता नहीं तुम लोगों को. जब मैं नहीं रहूंगी तब देखना. And I used to keep on telling her that, "Arey, you're so young, you will take so many years to die. By that time, I will learn." And like this, she was gone. So that grief was different. And because she was not there for the next 5 years or 5 years only, I cling to my father the way I hadn't ever communicated with him for the rest of my life. And he also got he was then in direct communication with me. News was not reaching him via my mother.
Yeah.
You know, he got very involved with my work, and so much of discussion was happening about work. You know, that I was doing something in Bombay, and there was a shift for my career. So it was just, like he used to call me almost like 10 times in a day if I was not in Kolkata. Like, if you're going for a meeting, come out of the meeting and share with him what happened. If audition went okay or good, or some confirmation happened, or just normal daily things. Some jhagda he has had with the cook, or driver has not come for 2 days, or, all the domestic stuff. So my communication with him for the last 5 years happened like he's the only go-to person, like holding on to him like the world is going to end tomorrow. And then when he passed away, that grief was like so much of vacuum, and you don't know what to do with it. And last year he just passed away, and in a week's time the lockdown happened.
Yeah.
So I still feel that I have not got the time to grieve enough, because with the lockdown this year, we know that if a lockdown happens, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to handle it? Pros, cons, deliverables, etc., etc. Last year, it was like something fell on our head. So there was no time. I was stuck in Bombay, had to procure, food and take care of my daughter.
Initially, the first thing that hits you actually are these practical things. They draw your attention.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're the responsible one, or if you're the only one who's in control, really, you get your time to heal or your time to grieve comes kafi baad mein, because you're just subsumed by all that's happening.
Yeah, and also because we stay in a flat, it's not like a 2-3 storied building that you can just take his things and put in a room, or matlab first floor mein sab cheeze rakh ke band kar diya darwaza, like we see it happening in a lot of films, that all their stuff is kept in one room locked, and you're not like really opening it and checking it out every day. But we stay in a flat. I've stayed with my parents forever. So his things are all lying around. I mean, chashma pada hai, hairbrush pada hai.
What happens now when you see this? Just say, this is a very, very important point. Things that you associate with that loved one, with the person who's gone, ghadi, chashma, what happens to you when you see it now?
I have, it took me a year, Stuti. I couldn't give his worn clothes for a wash or to the dryers and cleaners for a year. They were still hanging in the almirah or in the bathroom where he used to hang his clothes. Whatever he had worn before he got bedridden, they were still hanging there. And every time I was using the toilet, I could see the clothes and everything hanging right there in front of me. And every time I thought that I'm going to, take them down and give them to the dryers and cleaners, or I can give them off to somebody or do something, I just didn't have the strength to do it. So this year, I think sometime around March, after his Barsi was over, I took down the clothes and I gave them for cleaning, and I was still sniffing them.
Because you miss that smell and that touch.
There was nothing. I knew, the smell will not be there for a year. Still, I know, in my head, I know that it's not there, but I was still sniffing the clothes and sniffing it like, the dogs sniff bombs. Like just trying to find something. And I just kept on telling my daughter that this is the last this is the last something that I had attached myself with, because once they come back clean, it is that his touch will be gone. So yeah, I think I mean, this is what I was telling कि आप सीख जाते हो कि ये सब के साथ रहना है. His I still couldn't put his glasses in a box. They are still lying on his bedside table. So everything is there. His clothes are also there in the almirah. We also have our clothes there. So anytime I'm opening them, I get to see his stuff. And if you're living in a house for 20 years, कहाँ से क्या उठा के आप कहाँ रखोगे?
It's their house.
Yeah. वही तुम मतलब बेड साइड टेबल से उठा के तुम किसी और टेबल के ऊपर रखोगे, या बाथरूम से लेकर आप अलमीरा के अंदर रखोगे, इतना ही कर सकते हो. And I've been thinking for so long that I have the numbers, I'll call up the NGO and I'll give his stuff away. But why every day I think, and it's just the material
your
that
way of
is there,
holding on.
and you just want to hold on to it. And I don't know, I just keep asking my friends this a lot, that are you people like bored out of your mind? Because any discussion happens, I just tend to talk about him majorly. And then when I realize that I'm doing it for a considerable amount of time, I just keep asking them that, guys, are you all like bored? I mean, just tell me, okay, just lift up your hands and tell me you need to stop, because I don't realize that I'm just keeping on talking about him. So yeah, grief, I think, comes to us in very different ways. And also, I feel that there's no like structure, or ऐसा नहीं है कि every day you're sad, or every day you're in a bad mood, or you're sulking. In extremely happy, joyous moments, and there are people around you, and something comes to your mind, and you want to cry and die. You don't want to look strong and be strong, and it comes in at very odd hours, and you have no control over it. It's going to happen to you even after, I think, 7-8 years, that all of a sudden something triggers. You also don't know why suddenly you remember that thing. There's no it's not in sync with what is happening around you. But I mean, I was just talking to my therapist a few days back that anything good happens, like you're winning an award, or your film does very good in a film festival, or your show is a hit, or you're doing a big show for Netflix, or somebody is very happy with your audition, or it can be anything work-wise. I just don't feel that amount of happiness. Half of my head keeps telling me I should be really joyous, and I should call my friends and have a drink, and just feel so happy that I've achieved this. And the other half is just telling me that it's so pointless. I mean,
they're not here to see it.
You don't share it with the most important people in your life, and your parents are most happy with your achievements. Something great happens to me work-wise. If I share it with my daughter, she'll just say, "Oh ma, it's lovely. Who all are there in the cast?" And maybe she'll be excited. वो नाम सुनने के बाद कि ये भी है, वो भी है. That the excitement is like that. It's not what your parents would feel, because it's an achievement. So I just keep thinking that I'm doing such good work in Bombay, and my father always used to push me to go out of my comfort zone, and cross over the boundary and do something for a larger audience. सब कुछ हुआ, but just timing एकदम पूरा गड़बड़ हो गया. So it just keeps, that bell just keeps ringing in my mind for everything. And yeah, I think it's very important for people to take time out and grieve. It's very important.
Have you managed to do that? Have you cried your heart out? Have you howled
अरे
and just...
ये कमबख्त कोविड ने चांस ही नहीं दिया यार. लास्ट ईयर से कुछ ना कुछ चलता ही रहता है. First there was a lockdown, then after I this entire lockdown scenario changed. Between lockdown also Paatal Lok released, Dil Bechara released, so there was so much of work, and then there was so much of work because people were just not working for 6 months, that I just didn't get time. I was just working like a machine, and I was so happy that it's happening, that I'm so dead tired when I go back home, that empty room is not in my head anymore.
I have to say this, to everyone, that you have been doing such great work during this period, using your influence, your reach, and genuinely invested into this whole rescue process. You're retweeting requests and you're ensuring help reaches to those who want. And this is draining job, and it requires a lot of commitment, and we have to be honest, not a lot of people are doing this. People who have far greater, higher reach are not doing this. You are doing this, and like you said, you just lost your father last year. Then this whole thing started, lockdown, corona, the whole that it was, and then this particular phase with what is being called the second wave, and this absolutely tsunami of bad news that we kept getting. Every time you open your Facebook or Twitter, there's somebody who's passed away, there's some condolence message that you're writing. When you were helping those people, and this is, it's a very basic human question. You have lost both your parents. You're trying to help people. Were you trying to heal a part of yourself? Was that happening? Because I'm sure you would get requests about somebody asking something for their father or their mother.
It was, it was happening all the time. I mean, I think from mid-April till now, things have become little better now. There's enormous crisis of blood, as I was telling you. And Stuti, really, I did not sleep for more than 2-3 hours for the last 2 months. I mean, I was just on social media trying to do everything possible. And I have like this big a list of volunteers whom I can approach, and they all have my numbers. I have given off my numbers to so many strangers, and we've been trying to do whatever I can. It was, just like if somebody becomes well and goes back home. I mean, that one message from a family or a daughter or a wife or a mother, whoever it is, that, this case is solved. Not because the person has died. That was also happening a lot. Messages were coming, this case is done or solved. And I personally inquired that, solved as in how? Have you all got the bed? Is the person recovering? And many a times I've heard that, ma'am, the patient has passed away. And they were closing the case, or they were just saying it's done with. But even if 3 out of 10 times, if they said that recovery is happening, or I have, all the appeals that I've shared across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I have personally DM'd them, or I've called up the volunteers to ask, even after a month, to check how the patient is. And many a times they've said, ma'am, we have got, even, fundraisers, ma'am, we've got the money, Baba ghar wapas aa gaye hai, yeah, mom is better, or, we are okay. And they have, a lot of times they have personally reached out saying, whoever was in the hospital has come back home. So I could just relate to that coming back home thing, because that is what you want. If your parent or your loved one is the hospital, you just keep thinking, when can they go back home? And there are things that I just completely keep shut in my mind. I mean, there are doors that I don't want to unlock, and I just don't do it because I thought that's the best way you can, cope up with. You don't want to go and relive the memories.
Yeah.
But now when I'm talking to you and, what I remember, the last words that my mother used to tell us before she slipped into coma. Every time we were going to the hospital, those 3 days, we've been in the hospital only. There's no coming back home other than Raat ko. She kept on telling us, घर कब वापस जा सकती हूँ, घर कब लेके जाओगे तुम लोग मुझे. So, they also get into the thing of, even my father, the 10-12 days he was in ICU, every time we were going and meeting him, morning, afternoon, evening, I was there in the hospital at times till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. The only thing he used to say is, amake bari nahi hai chol. So that's the only thing I think people who are in the hospital, they just want to go home. And, it becomes difficult to make them understand that, you need this amount of oxygen or this treatment is going on. I mean, why are you behaving like a kid? You've just come yesterday.
Yeah.
You'll go back home. We'll take you back home. But hota hai na ki they don't want to, they become a child.
Yeah.
The only question they have, they are not, my parents were never asking me that, reports क्या है, या doctors क्या बोल रहे हैं, या what is going on. They are least interested to know about their health condition. The only thing they want to know is मुझे घर जाना है. या आप लोग लेके जाओ या डॉक्टर को मनाओ या कुछ भी करो, बट मुझे यहाँ से निकालो हॉस्पिटल से, मुझे घर जाना है. So I was just, my daughter was telling me that, Ma, you're going to fall sick and, you're just so consumed with this entire volunteering work. But for me, I just wanted to hear, even if it was for after a week or 3 days or 10 days or whatever, ki, ma'am, we have come back home. So, and they're all strangers. I don't even know whether I'll ever meet them in my life. So many of them I have not even spoken, I don't know how they sound. It's just happening on messages or DMs. And they still send me messages saying that Baba has sent a lot of blessings, ma'am. He's recovered. He's doing well. So, I mean, I think, you're just happy that somebody's parent is alive. Yeah. But a peculiar thing also happens, Stuti. I will tell this, people can judge me or they can hate me for saying this. But at times you also feel angry. I have said this.
I was coming to that,
Yeah, I have said this to a friend, and after I think 5-10 minutes, I was so miserably sorry. I also said that I'm so sorry because I just said something so stupid and I sounded so wrong. But वो मेरे मुंह से निकल गया कि अच्छा तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स भी जिंदा है, तुम्हारे बीवी के पेरेंट्स भी जिंदा है, मेरे पेरेंट्स को ही मरना था क्या? So you also, you just, now it doesn't happen so much, but initially, people post pictures with their parents on Facebook or some birthday of parents or some celebration or कोई celebration नहीं, ऐसे ही किसी ने डाल दिया, some pictures. वो जो मुझे गुस्सा आता था ना कि अरे सबके पेरेंट्स जिंदा है, मेरे पेरेंट्स को क्यों मरना था? And you feel that anger, you feel that anger and that despair and the helplessness. And मैंने मुंह पे बोल दिया था. I realized in, like 5 minutes time that I shouldn't be saying this because it just sounds wrong. I would prefer everybody's parents to live forever. But
I know.
कि तुम्हारे तो चारों पेरेंट्स जिंदा है, मेरे कोई मरना था क्या?
Anyone who has gone through what we have, who's lost a parent, lost a loved one, will understand this. And that's why I think conversations like this are important, because we don't talk about grief. I used to feel guilty about this feeling, this exact feeling, कि पता नहीं दूसरे ऐसा फील करते हैं नहीं, but 5 मिनट के लिए वो गुस्सा तो आता है. 5 मिनट के लिए you ask, why me? क्या गलती हो गई? You know, sometimes I even get angry on my father. Why could he not fight like that one day? Why didn't he fight? And why didn't he just, you know, come out with you know, it's we're all human.
You just feel like
yeah.
किसी और का कुछ होता, मेरा, you know, एक कोई जिंदा रहना चाहिए था. You know, mother passed away, father should have been there. There are people whose entire families are alive. कैसे हो सकता है यार? I mean, why am I going? I am the only person going through this. I'm sure that there must be thousands of people feeling the same way. But as human beings, you feel that despair, and then I stopped being so harsh on myself. I said,
exactly. No, I'm so glad you said this. And very brave of you, and anyone who's going through this, has gone through this, will understand what you're saying. We're all there, we've been there, and we're feeling this. You know, there's so much still to talk about, and yet it's so difficult. I'm really struggling, but
I know Stuti, you're having I think you should have just done this after a few months, because it's just a very bad, helpless time for you. I mean, I can just see you.
I also think this is the only way probably that I'm also trying to cope and understand.
I think you feel better if you talk. That is also difficult. At times you don't want to talk, but I think it feels better to talk. And I just keep saying this so many times to everybody. Even I share posts that, you know, there's no problem and no harm in feeling weak, and just ask for help if you need it. There's no shame in it. There's no guilt in it. You're unable to cope up with. If you need help, it can be a family member, a friend, a stranger you just met on social media. Your psychiatrist, your therapist, doctor, whoever it is. If you need help, just ask for it, because it becomes very difficult to handle everything and, you know, just be that strong man or woman. I mean, there's no, you know, I don't think there's a lot of this social pressure and peer pressure, but I feel as an individual, you need to realize that it's not tattooed on our forehead or anywhere that you are supposed to be this strong Wonder Woman who has to handle every goddamn thing in the world and yet come out powerful and, you know, I have done it kind of a thing. It's so unnecessary, and it's just, you know, drilled into you, and then you start living in that mindset that, you know, I am strong. People expect me to be strong, and I can deal with anything that is going in my life, and I will not reach out to anybody and damage yourself in the process so much so that you reach a point of no return. Just
this is, I think, very, very sensible advice, and that's what I'm saying. I find it helps me heal talking to people who've actually gone through this, and they are the only ones, I think, who understand me and understand this language of grief. Swastika, it has been an absolute pleasure, as always, even though we spoke about something as grim and sad as losing a parent and dealing with death, but you know, the honesty with which you've spoken straight from the heart, I think a lot of people will benefit.
Also, I think, you know, people, if whoever is hearing us or, you know, will see this, I think, you know, if they can relate, and I'm sure they will maybe, you know, try and be less harsh on themselves. It's happening with you, तुम्हारे साथ भी हो रहा है, मेरे साथ भी हो रहा है, किसी और के साथ भी हो रहा है, and as human beings we go through the same process. I mean, I just, you know, keep thinking that we are in the same boat, we're just drowning differently. So people maybe, you know, feel less guilty for feeling a certain kind of thing in a certain kind of way. So
absolutely. Thank you so much, Swastika Mukherjee.
Please don't thank me, and I just hope we meet soon after this
Yes.
lockdown
We
and
have to
COVID.
meet.
Third,
And
fourth
abhi ke
wave,
liye
fifth wave
a
go away from our
virtual,
lives.
a giant virtual hug. But when we meet,
Yes.
I'm going to give you one tight hug. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
Thank you, Stuti, for reaching out. And whenever you need, I'm there, just a call away. So
absolutely, thank you. And I
thank
hope
you.
all of you have really benefited from this conversation. Like I always say, take your time. It's okay to grieve. And like Swastika said, you don't have to be harsh on yourself. Do what you need to do. Take as much time as you want to heal and to grieve.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.